I've come across a YouTube channel and I challenge you to a photography battle. I will email you the rules. You have to use your Ricoh GR IIIx and I will use my Fujifilm X100F. If you don't comply, I deem you unworthy and I will delete your YouTube channel. All your hard work gone.
But I'm almost monetized.
Just one click. Oh, and check your spam folder in case the email sent there. Bye.
So I've been challenged by Maike, a German photographer and YouTuber, to a photography battle. The rules are simple. 3 rounds and no editing allowed. She wants to steal you, my subscribers, with her Fujifilm.
She's bigger.
The first challenge? Well, she's definitely serious. I need to find a model. So the first round for today is that we're going to take some portraits, which puts me at a real big disadvantage because Maike is a very, very talented portrait photographer.
Now beat this.
And I have the skill set of a potato in terms of portraits. So the game plan for today, I scammed a pretty model so that she'll do all the work for my portraits and that it has a higher chance of looking pretty. So let's meet Wing. For this photo, it's more like an inspiration from my street photography where I'm just waiting for a tram to pass by behind Wing and then I'll take an environmental portrait for her. I missed it 10 hours later. Still no tram. I think I only have one shot. Otherwise, we're gonna have to wait 10 more hours. Did I get that? Okay. So far, I think in each location, I tried to progressively improve. The first one, we're just inside a tram. It was very chaotic. Give me a bitchy look because there's very little space and I didn't really know how to move around and direct Wing. So it was a skill issue on my end. Tram lighting is not too nice. Yeah, there's more interesting spots that we found because right now is also going to be the Chinese New Year. There's a lantern festival. So there's some lantern decorations that we saw a while ago. Quite a nice improvement. Like, look back. So right now we found some fake cherry blossoms and we're using it as the background for Wing's portraits. The only problem we have now is that the lighting around is coming from below, so it's giving off that she looks like a ghost.
Halloween light.
Yeah, it's Halloween light. Well, we're trying to make it work. One thing that I really admire about Maike's portraits is that they always have a concept behind them. They're always quite emotive, depicts what her thought process is going to be in every shot. I don't really know how to do that. My brain is pretty empty. But right now, the concept is we're in the busy districts here in Hong Kong. Lots of city lights. The red makes it look like it's a horror movie. And Wing is just visiting here for a couple of days. So it's more like a return to Hong Kong as a tourist kind of vibe. So, do you think the photos look nice?
Yes.
Which one was the best? What do you think?
I quite like the escalator one.
Escalator one. Personally, I do like the tram shot quite a lot, but I think I'm going to submit the escalator photo just because I've never taken a photo like that before. And it took us a number of attempts to have an acceptable photo out of it. But man, this challenge was a really, really challenging one. So for the night street photography one, I need to step up my game. And I need to book a flight. Welcome to Tokyo, a street photography heaven, where everywhere you look, there's bound to be a shot. I mean, if I do a really bad job for this round, then I probably deserve to have my channel deleted. And I don't know what kind of streets Maike has over there in Germany, but this one, it's pretty damn hard to beat. So as you can see around me, Tokyo is a very, very vibrant city. Lots of lights, lots of colors. So for the film recipe that I wanted to try out, I want something with punchier contrast and richer saturation so that I can emphasize everything that's going on around me. So today I wanted to try out this recipe called the Ectacolor, which gives me just that. I am currently in Shibuya, a famous shopping district here in Tokyo. And the most obvious shot to take over here for street photography is going to be the famous Shibuya crossing, which, to be honest, I'm not too excited because it's a shot that 6 million other photographers have taken, but I'm going to take it just for the sake of taking it. And the concept that I have in mind is at least a shot that screams very Japanese, of course, so probably a lot of the Japanese characters, and something that surrounds locals probably doing some local things, whatever that means. For my settings tonight, I've put the Ricoh into snap focus mode because I've said this before that the Ricoh GR IIIx suffers in terms of focusing when doing night street photography, and I don't want to be missing a lot of shots because of that. I am underexposing just a little bit to retain some of the highlights details in case they get blown out because of the street lights. You know, I really want to think of myself as a non-confrontational street photographer. You know, I don't want to be taking close-ups of people that I don't know because I do want to respect people's personal space as well. So what I try to do for the shots, I just really frame it up, find a neat composition, and then just wait for interesting people to pass by. If they notice me and they don't bat an eye, then I guess they're okay with their photos being taken. Made my way here in Shinjuku and left the Shibuya area because, well, honestly, I just ran out of time. I'm really just multitasking, doing these photography vlogs and maximizing my holidays. But anyway, right now I'm just trying to attempt a panning shot of some of the taxis. Took me a while to get a half acceptable image, but it's a shot. Okay, so status update. My Ricoh is almost out of battery, and if I were to choose a best photo, I'm actually not sure because I think I took away a few interesting frames. But if I were to choose just one, then I think it's going to be this one from the Kabukicho Gate, just because I was able to catch that guy trying to photobomb my photo, and the background is just really nice. For challenge number 3, I'm going to need a tripod. This round is going to be all about long exposures, which personally I think is the most fair game in all the rounds. And actually I already took a couple of photos that could qualify as long exposure in the previous rounds, but I don't want to submit those because I think for me, true long exposure photography is one that will require a tripod. So for this round I already have a couple of ideas. The first shot is going to be on moving water simply because I like landscapes and it's going to be a nice change of scenery for this video. And for the second one, it's going to be a bit more conceptual, but for now, let's nail the safety shot first. So this is actually the very first time that I'm going to be using the Ricoh on a tripod. Using a tripod on the Ricoh feels a little bit bizarre because it's just so tiny. It looks like a baby setup. And you might be wondering, how am I going to nail a long exposure shot in broad daylight? Well, I'm glad you asked. The first thing you can do is to just close down your aperture to allow less light in. But if that's not going to be slow enough, then the Ricoh GR IIIx has a built-in ND filter. I think it's about 2 stops. But if you want really, really long exposures, then the secret sauce is I'm just going to be waving around my ND filters in front because I still don't have filters yet for the Ricoh. So I visited this waterfall quite a number of times already, and every time I try to take the most straightforward of the photos, which is really just to go down and be close to the stream. But today I found an even better framing where I went to the side and have an elevated vantage point. So I didn't really expect that I'll be able to find a new composition today, so I'm quite satisfied with that. But given that I said it is going to be the safety shot, I still have that conceptual photo that I want to try out. So let's head back to the city. The waterfall shot was decent and all, but I think it's a little bit too simple for a challenge. You know, it's kind of safe. So for the next shot attempt, I want to do a really, really long exposure. And there's going to be a reason for that. You already know that dragging out the shutter will introduce some motion blur, but stretching it out for really, really long time, it's going to eliminate all movement. And Hong Kong is known to be a city filled with rush. So the concept today is to use long exposure to eliminate all of that. Ideally, the shot will turn out quite eerie and even post-apocalyptic. And this photo concept was inspired by the works called Silent World by Lucy and Simon. Right now, I am back at the busy shopping district here in Hong Kong called Causeway Bay. And as you can see behind, it's very, very busy. And I want to see if maybe 3 minutes of exposure is going to be enough to Thanos snap them out of existence. Thankfully though, and today I learned that Ricoh GR IIIx has a built-in timer that can set the exposure to the minutes. So after 3 minutes of exposure, the concept is definitely there, but not to the original idea that I had in mind. Particularly because some of the trams and buses were parked for an extended period of time, so the shadows of them were quite apparent. And because it's approaching nighttime, the cars have turned on their lights and they're leaving some minor light trails. But I think it's still a very solid idea, so I think I'm going to try and retake that photo, this time with a 7-minute exposure. I'm gonna be holding this for the entire exposure. And turn it into black and white because I think having colors is a little bit too clashing. Well, I don't know about you, but I think I did pretty okay for the challenges in this video. But I'm also really excited to see what Maike has come up with her Fujifilm X100F. So why don't you check out her video here and comment on who you think did better. Oh, and if you want to do a photo battle with me, let's do it.